hello, everyone. Good morning to you all. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining in from. I welcome you to the Parents Conference 2024, which is themed Parenting for Change in Africa. How was yesterday? In just one word, tell me, how was yesterday? Put your comments in the comment section so that I know what you learned yesterday. Give me one word. What and how was yesterday? How did you feel? I know that you got value from the comments that came, from the reviews we had. I know that we gave out value. And yes, it was just day one. Today is day two, and we have another day, day three, which is tomorrow. I believe you are ready. If you haven't shared the link, share to your friends, your family, any parents you know, share to them. This can be life changing for them. So share to anyone in your community, on your platform, anywhere at all that you would think this conference will be of great use to. Kindly share to them. So let me see the comments. Let me see the fire emojis. If you are ready for today's sessions, let me see the fire emojis. Let me see them. Let me see the fire emojis if you are ready. If you are ready, and if you can hear me and see me, let me see you in the comment section so that I know that I can be heard, so that I know that I can be seen. Let me see your comments. Let me see your comments, your emojis, your fire emojis. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right. All right. Okay. 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 Amma, I see you. I see you. All right. So I welcome all of you once again. And I welcome all of you once again. And I know that this conference, of course, is going to be life changing for all of you. So without wasting much time, I would want us to play the bio of our speaker so that we can go ahead with today's session. Thank you and welcome once again to the Parents Conference 2024. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
Onyi Okeke is a certified trauma therapist and the founder of the Thrivers Haven. She specializes in helping high achieving, middle aged women who, despite reaching the pinnacle of their careers, quietly struggle with feelings of inadequacy, emotional pain, and unhealed wounds from the past. With a deep understanding of the complexities of unresolved childhood trauma, she guides her clients through a transformational journey of healing, self discovery, and empowerment. She believes that true success is not just about external achievements, but about living in alignment with one's true self. She is married with three amazing kids. Ladies and gentlemen, parents, please let's welcome on stage Onyi Okeke.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me, please? Please, if you can hear me, let me know. All right. Okay. It is an honor to be here in this conference. Yeah. So I'm Onye Jinkonyo Keke, a trauma therapist, like you've heard. And I'm here to speak about how to become an effective parent. Yeah. So parenting. Parenting is an interesting journey, an interesting job, and at the same time can be overwhelming. Yeah. So parenting is one of the significant roles that when we undertake, we do not only shape the lives of our children, but also their future. It's not just about their lives, but their future. And parenting is not just about love. It's not about love. Now, let me tell you this story. Growing up, that should be around when I was like 15, 16. There's this, um, she's mentally challenged. So she had a child, a very handsome boy, very handsome. So that dump where she stays, she would take care of the child, bathe the child with, dirty water, breastfeed him. So this went on for like when the child was like 2, 3 months. Some government officials came to take the child away from her. Now that day we were at home, and this woman, she fought. She fought like she didn't allow them get close to her to take the baby away. At some point we were like, why can't they just let her take care of our child? And because if you see the child, he was well taken care. Like, so the the dragging here and there continued, but at some point they overpowered her, took the child. So while we were discussing with my mother, we were like, why could it? That's her child. Why can't they allow her to take care of the child? So she was like, it's not just about that she loves the child, or the mother to the child, but there's other things involved in raising a child. We didn't understand then. But when I became a parent, I understood well, very well, right? Now, raising a child is not just about love, like I said. It's about self-awareness. Yes? It's about emotional intelligence. It's about being, deeply connected with your children. It's not just about having them. Now, when I got married and started having children, I thought, okay, I've given birth to them. I love them, obviously. So what else can they ask for? Not until I became self-aware of how my relationship was with them. That was when I had to make that conscious effort to seek help for myself, right? Because my emotions were all over the whole place. I saw them, they were not coming close to me. They would prefer to stay with my sisters, with other people, instead of me. But I am their mother. What's going on? That was when I decided there's something that I'm not doing right. And that was where my journey started. But it did not just end, me learning about parenting and all that. It was about, my behavior my emotional status. It was in the process. That's why I said that parenting is a journey. It's a journey. In the process, you will get to meet some challenges. You get to meet some potholes, like because it's a journey. Now, what are these challenges? What can be these challenges we can meet? One, it can be how do I balance discipline and emotional support? Because when we say, oh, I love my child, sometimes we, because of the love we have for them, we wouldn't want to discipline them the way. And when I say discipline, I don't mean hitting them, beating them, No. How do you form that discipline? And because you don't want to hurt them, you 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 you, you tend to cage them, you tend to spoil them in the process of not disciplining them. Now there are two extremes. Now, when you say, oh, I don't want my child to spoil, I don't want my child to be an irresponsible child, I don't want, we go to the extreme of hitting the hell out of that child. Now, this is one of the challenge. Another challenge we face is breaking the generational cycles of trauma. Breaking the generational cycles of trauma or family dysfunction. Now, when I got to when I started having my children, growing up, I would hear my one of my uncles that used to stay with us say, "You're going to be a disciplinarian. You will not allow your child to to become a nuisance, or you will not give them the chance to become a sport." These things I started internalizing them, started storing them in the subconscious mind of my brain. Now, when I started having my children, those thoughts started coming out, right? So any little mistake my child makes, I see that, oh, you're going to be a nuisance. You will not amount to anything. Then I will use my cane to hit the child. Now, the one I can remember very well, my first son, he was 3 then. He woke up from sleep. Now, we were in the sitting room. I was with my sisters. He came there and he did not say good morning to anybody. And one of my sisters said, Nah, say good morning. He did not say anything. He was just looking at us. I said, Nah, say good morning to us. Or yeah, say good morning. You know how we do to kids. He did not say anything. He was just looking at us. I got angry. How dare you, a child of mine? You can't say good morning. Remember, he was 3 years old. How can you wake up in the morning and you can't say good morning? And this is how you will continue, and you will be disrespectful, irresponsible. This was all was going on in my mind. I got up, I took my cane that morning. I hit my child. I flogged him. And then I felt so good that I am a good mother, that I am doing what is supposed, that I am doing what is expected of me, that I am raising my child to be a responsible child, a 3 year old. Now, I did not pause to ask, did you have a good night rest? I did not connect with his emotions. I didn't care to ask, how are you feeling? because that was not the way he used to be. So what changed? What changed? Did you have a bad dream? These thoughts did not occur to me. I was all about myself, right? So I brought my generational cycles of trauma. And not just that. There were many instances, right, where I involved my trauma, you know. Then when my children, I'll be so irritated when they come close to me. I'll be like, "What? You've eaten? You've taken your bath? What do you want to? Please, can you give me my space?" Now, another thing that can happen is, we don't. Another challenge is that we don't know how to help these children manage their emotions and at the same time managing our own. When you see a child who is hungry because they can't okay, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I want, they don't know how to say it out. Even if they know how to talk, they don't know how to put it, how to articulate it. They don't know how to, name their emotions because they don't know what's going on with them. Now, as the parent who is supposed to help this child, you don't even know how to name your emotions, and there'll be a clash. You raise your voice, you yell, you hit. Now, this child on the other side would be wondering, what have I done wrong? What's going on? Why are you hitting me? I am hungry, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm overwhelmed, and you're hitting me at the same time. These are the challenges. These are the challenges we meet, right? It can be overwhelming. I like I've been there, right? It can be overwhelming. It can be frustrating, but with the right tools, you will know how to navigate, how to transform your relationship with your children, and create that lasting positive change. I'm not here to tell you what somebody else experienced. I'm here to tell you what I experienced and how I maneuvered, how I got over it, and I'm holding it down. Right? So let's move on. Now, when you understand that unresolved childhood trauma can pose a threat to in your parenting journey, you would want to know, what do I have to do? When you understand that your unmet childhood needs can affect your parenting journey, you would want to know, how do I, right? How do I do these things? When you understand that what you have passed through, what you have unconsciously buried, can affect how you parent, you would want to seek help. Now, understand that parenting is not being perfect. No, it's not being perfect, right? So, when we react with anger instead of patience, it will affect, our parenting journey. When we overprotect our children because of the fear of them experiencing the pain you experience, can affect your parenting journey. I don't know if you've heard some parents say, "Oh, I don't want my child to suffer. Oh, because I did not get, I did not get to take all those snacks while growing up." You tend to give your child even the ones that are not good for them just because you did not get them as a child. Have you heard someone say, "Oh, I'm going to raise my child the way I was raised"? I'm one of them. So these are the things we need to become aware of. We struggle to validate their emotions because we cannot validate ours, right? Because we were not taught of, how to validate your emotions, how to name your emotions. Now, let me tell you what happened. That was yesterday. Yes. I picked my kids up from school, and when we came back, the food wasn't ready, and the last one was so hungry. He was hungry. Now, looking at him, I was like, Mona, what is it? He was like, the food is not ready. And I said, can you just, exercise some patience that it will soon be. He said that the tomato is still on fire, that they've not done this one. And now he was about to cry. If it were to be before, I will yell on him, why can't you wait? Why can't you wait? You will. But what I did was I I looked at the situation and I put myself, right? That's what healing does. I had to put myself in his position. How do I feel when I am hungry? How do I feel when, because I know that, they normally say a hungry man is an angry man, right? So I said, you know what? Okay, since the yam is not even ready and the sauce is not ready, now put on your clothes. Let's go and get something, while we wait. So we went out. I got some snacks and immediately he took it. He became happy. He became that chatty child, that happy child. He was Now when the food was ready, he ate and everybody was fine. What would have happened if I had yelled at him or possibly hit him or start telling him, using verbal abuse on him that you can't even imagine, you can't even exercise some patience. So we don't know how to validate their emotions, right? And it's a challenge. Now, let us understand, let us understand the impact of, you know, having emotional triggers. When we have unresolved um, trauma, it leaves us with emotional triggers. Now, when I say trauma is subtle. Trauma is so subtle. People, when we say trauma, people think that, oh, you had an accident, one mighty something that happened to you, and that's fine. That can be trauma because we have acute trauma, we have chronic trauma, right? We have complex trauma. Now, complex trauma, which is childhood trauma, is so subtle. We tend to neglect them most times. Now, when trauma happens, trauma is like an unseen wound, right? Now, there's one illustration I don't know if you can see this illustration that I do. It's a wound. Let me take for instance, here is the wound, right? And what do? We cover up the wound. Nobody is seeing the wound. And how do we cover up the wound? We tend to become, busy. Our self-esteem will become so low. So we want to do things that will prove us worthy, that so that others can validate us. We tend to put on this mask of or this appearance that all is well. So what happens is that because we have not healed from that wound, the outsiders are not seeing it. People are not seeing it. You're the only one that knows that something is there. So when they brush past it, and when I mean when I say when they brush past it, when they do things that hurt us, when they push our trigger button, especially our children, especially our children. So when they do that, the pain comes up and we react, we overreact, right? They make mistakes, we overreact. They say something that we overreact. Now they'll be wondering, what did I do in your office? Your colleague or your employee or your employer, your friends, they'll be wondering, why are you overreacting? Because they can't see that wound. You are the only one that knows what's going on, right? So you overreact because they bruised that wound that you've covered up. So that's one of the ways, emotional triggers. The second one is generational. I've talked about it, generational trauma, patterns of trauma that repeat itself across generations. There was one woman I handled her case some time ago. And please, if I share anybody's story here, just know that they gave me the permission to do so, right? Because a lot of people will want you to share so that others will learn from them. Now, so she said that growing up, when the mother wants to beat her, she would wait till it's night. Then she will wake her up and be like, go inside the other room and get something for me. And when she enters the room, the mother will come in, shut the door, and start to beat her in the middle of the night. Now, in the process of beating her, she will hold her in a choke mode, trying to choke her. You can now imagine the sort of anger a mother will have that will want her to, hold the child, wanting to suffocate the child, or. So she said that she started having her own children and she started replicating the same thing, the same way the mother raised her, the same way the mother talked to her. That was what she was doing to the children till she realized I am losing them. And she had to make some changes, right? So maybe you grew up in a family where they where they didn't, validate your emotions. They dismiss your emotions, and we hear these statements like, "Oh, come on, get over it. You're a big boy. It's nothing. You shouldn't feel that way. You're being so dramatic. Why are you so dramatic? Eh? Why are you acting like a baby? Oh, get over it. Other kids have it worse." Huh? For some, it will be like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Okay, just wait. I'll give you something to cry about. When you grow up, when you have your children, you start replicating the same thing. For some people, their their emotions were not met. All your mother did was just to provide the physical things. And now another thing is attachment and connection. When you experience emotional neglect, as a child, it will be hard for you to form, secure attachments with your children. And this happens to me. You will think, oh, their mother, they will love me whether you like it or not, whether they like it or not. Their mother, they don't have any choice. Remember, they won't remain, children forever. They will grow up. They will have their own lives. They will have their own values. Then they will determine, how do I handle this woman? There's one of my friends, she's no more in Nigeria, and she said that she's not coming back because she doesn't want to have anything to do with the parents. She got married to a white man, and that was it. She said that she doesn't want to set her eyes on her parents. Now, when she was a child, I bet you if you had asked the parents, they would be like, ah, she's just being a child. Whenever she will still come back. But these children, they grow. They form their belief system. They have their value system. They form their coping mechanisms, and they move. So when we become overly distant from our children, it's a problem. When we become, overly controlling, especially when they get to that teenage age, it can pose a problem. When you struggle to connect emotionally, it will pose a big problem. When you project your fears, the next one is when you project your fears. If you have unresolved trauma, you would tend to project your fears on your children. This happened to me too. Fear of failure. I didn't want them to fail. I tried as much as I can to shield them. You see me running here and there, trying to do things so that they don't experience failure. I did not understand that I can use that failure to teach them. They can learn from them because nobody taught me how to learn from my failure, right? Rather, what I got was verbal abuses because I failed in one way or the other, right? So these are the things that can pose as threats in our parenting journey. Now, how do I? What do I need to do? These were the questions I asked myself. And mind you, it's not just about you. When you have unresolved trauma, it will affect, your relationship with your partner, which will in turn affect your parenting skills. You won't get to agree with your partner. You won't get to make decisions as partners, as parents on how to raise these children. Now there was a case I handled sometime. The mother, okay, the children will go to the father and lay down their problems, what they want, what they need. The man will not communicate with the wife, right? He won't tell her this is what the kids have said. He will go ahead to do that. Now, the children will go to the mother and tell her, Mommy, this is what we want, this is how we want to do it. I should be like, that's fine. Just and it got to a point where in school they had to, I don't know what one of the children did, they called them. That was where they got to know that they've been parenting differently, most times on the same, issue. And the kids have been playing them because what we think is these children, they are just kids. They don't understand. They don't know. But we are modeling to them. We are showing them. They are learning from us, right? So why I say this is when I started my healing journey, right? Especially when it comes to controlling my emotions. When I try to, take that deep breath and calm myself down to know what's going on, I didn't know that my children were seeing it. So one day something happened and the last boy, he just turned 10 on Monday and he was like, Mommy, calm down. Just hmm." he was, he was expressing it like, Mommy, just calm down. And if he gets to become irritated with something, he will do the same thing. He will tell himself, Mona, just calm down, just calm down, just calm down. Children learn from us. They see, they hear, they observe, they observe. They know that when we do things that we tell them the opposite, it doesn't, align. And they use it against us. They use it against us. Now, what do you do? What are the strategies we need to do? We need to put into place to become an effective parent. What is that I need to do? Remember, it's you're not. It's not just for the lives of your children. It's for their future. It's not just for your immediate family, it's for the society. When you put all these things into perspective, you will know that you have to raise children who become kings, children who will be movers and shakers, children who will be at the table to say how things will happen and not just slaves. It is our responsibility as parents. And if we don't get it right, they won't get it right. Now, the first thing we need to do is to acknowledge and validate your experiences. Stop running away from I know that sometimes we might not even, you know, classify what we've gone through as one of the things that pose as challenges to us, right? But now it's time for you to sit down. It is not the time for you to follow the 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 people that the collective parenting. No, it is not the time for you to say, oh no, you must beat a child. You must beat a child to get what you want. I used to be in that school of thought, but since I started, my Lila's baby is 10, and I can tell you that since I had him, I've not used cane on him. Yet when I go to school, teachers sing his praises, right? So when you acknowledge, when you acknowledge that your experiences is posing as a threat to your in your parenting journey, you have to acknowledge, and validate it that, oh, what I went through is valid. I know that many of us, the reason why we don't want to acknowledge it and say it out loud is because of what others will say, what our spouses. I understand because some people can use it against you. It's fine, but remember, it's about you, not about that person, right? Don't blame yourself for whatever that has happened. Don't blame yourself. Be compassionate. You deserve it, right? You deserve to be compassionate towards yourself. And that's where your healing starts. Then you seek support because it's not what you can do on your own. Because at some point you will get tired. You'll be like, oh, it's not working because this is something that happened to you over a long period of time, right? So it will take time for you to renew your mind, change the old perspective to the new one. So along the journey, if you're doing it alone, you will get tired at some point because when the triggers come up, you'll be like, this is not working. But when you have a support system, when you're working with someone, you can run to that person and say, this is how I feel at this point. This is how I'm feeling right now. How do I do this? Then the person will hold you and you continue the journey. Now, having that person creates a safe space where you become vulnerable. Because what trauma does is it makes us not to show our vulnerability. You always appear as, the big guy all the time that doesn't have any problems. But it's not true. Yeah. Now, you have to practice mindful parenting. I did not just say parenting, practice parenting. No, I said mindful parenting. Now, how do you do that? When you feel triggered, remember I said that one of your triggers can be your children. Yeah. So when you feel triggered, just pause. What's happening is that you're becoming mindful of that moment, that minute. You want to assimilate whatever is going on. You want to have control of your emotions. You want to have control of the situations at the same time. So when you become mindful, you pause. When you pause, it will help you to identify the source of your reaction. So these questions, the questions that will pop up will be like, is it my child's behavior that's making me react like this? Or is it because of what I went through? Yeah, you have to pause. Now, it can be, is it because I'm hungry? Is it because someone else made me angry and I came into the house and something that is, minute, something that's just there, I'm overreacting. We have to be mindful at every point in time. And when you're being mindful, you will know that they are children. There are some things they don't understand. They are still learning and learning from us. So instead of reacting, you stay present. You take a pause and you're present at that moment. Then you develop emotional awareness. Develop emotional awareness. Learn to recognize and label your emotions. When you're sad, say that you're sad and not angry. Yeah. When you're overwhelmed, be ready to say, oh no, I'm overwhelmed with this thing, not angry. We should learn how to name our emotions at every point in time. What it does is that it will help us to manage the situation. It will help us not to overreact. Even when you're angry, you will know how to talk. You will know how to respond. Now, there was a time like my children, they did something, I was angry. Yes, I was angry. Now, what did I do? I called them. The first one is 15, the second 15, then the last one 10. I called them and said, guys, come, we have to have a meeting right now. So they came, we sat down and from your tone, children, they are very intelligent. From your tone, they will know when you are serious and when you're not. So I called them, I sat them down and I said, you see this, you see this, you see this. I do not want it to repeat again. Now, my tone, and I wasn't sitting down, I was standing for me to show them that I am in charge. So you being in charge doesn't mean welding your cane. Uh-uh. So I listed it down and they know that at this point we mean business, right? So when you know how to manage your emotions, you will help your child to manage theirs. You will help them to name theirs. You will help them to know how to carry themselves, how to name their emotions, and how to handle things. Then the next is you reparent yourself. It's not a crime to reparent yourself. Our 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 parents, they must have not done it right because they too they have their own trauma they are dealing with, unresolved trauma they are dealing with. I bet you. So it's not, it's done. They've done it the best way they could. Now it's time for you to reparent yourself. And how do you do that? Reflect on what you needed as a child. Reflect on what you needed as a child that you did not get. Now, for example, for me, I did not get emotional support, right? I did not get emotional support from my parents, and I had to come to that, you know, that place where I told myself, and what we call it is, healing the inner child. Because what happens is that as adults, what we express, it's not our adult self, it's that child that experienced those trauma. That's the child that's still agitating on the inside. So for my own case, that child, that 4-year-old, that 5-year-old, 6, 7, that did not get that emotional support, I had to acknowledge that child. In me, I gave that child the love. So I gave myself love. Yeah? I gave myself, I validated myself. I gave myself that safety. I reparented my inner child. I showed that child that you can be loved. Now, you cannot give what you don't have. If you have not experienced love, you can't give love, not even to those children. If you have not experienced empathy, you can't give it. You can't look at somebody and from another angle, from the lens of empathy, and deal with that person. You can't put yourself in another person's shoe, right? So you cannot give what you don't have until you get that thing. That's when you will give it out. So show yourself love. Look in the mirror. Look at that 9 year old. Look at that 6 year old. Look at that 5 year old that never received love, that always received verbal abuses, emotional abuses, physical abuses, and tell that child, I love you. From the bottom of my heart, I love you. I will protect you. I will give you the safety you need. And that child will feel loved. The child inside of you. When you see love, you will know that this is love, and you'll be able to receive love from another person so that you can give it out. That's what reparenting means. Provide yourself the things you couldn't get. Now, set healthy boundaries. I did not say set boundaries. Set healthy boundaries, right? So when you start healing, you have your core values, your old perspectives have been changed, your coping mechanism have changed, your core beliefs have changed. It will help you to set healthy boundaries that will provide safety for you and your children. Set healthy boundaries. It it saves us from a lot. Healthy boundaries, it will help you to say no when you mean no. It will help you to say yes when you mean yes to yourself, to your children, to others. Right? And the next is repair after conflict. Now, there's this there's this saying, I don't know, but in my, they said when you beat a child with the right hand, you draw the child closer with the left hand, or when you beat a child with the left hand, you right. So when you have maybe some conflict with your child, you know, you will have that mind to call that child because you want to repair your relationship with that child. And it is very important. I've seen parents who keep malice with their children. I've seen parents who, after something or some conflict with their children, they will extend it. After some hours, when the child asks questions to you or comes close to you, you will yell at the child, oh, I'm still angry with you. I don't know. You repair after every conflict. When a child does something, call the child back. When you have some, friction with your child, especially teenagers, they can. I have two at home. Eh? When they do something, what I do is I sit them down. I said, what did you learn from this? Now you're giving that child the opportunity to think of or think about what happened, their actions. Then the person will explain to you. And let me tell you, if you are in the position, if you're the one to apologize to your child, please do. It is not a crime to apologize to the children. You're teaching them. Remember what I said. They are learning from us. Apologize. I apologize to my children. When you start, before it was not easy. It was not easy for me. Let me tell you the truth. But I learned. When you apologize to them, they will understand. Okay, I will have to apologize when I'm wrong. Yeah. So for them to understand that making mistakes is part of learning and growing. If you've learned something from your child, oh, I've learned something from you. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have known this if you did not tell me. Then please break generational patterns. Identify those patterns in your family. You see, my own is yelling. Hey, God, yelling, beating, yeah, a lot, ignoring them, not validating their emotions. I used to do that. But when I realized that these are patterns that I don't want to continue, I started dropping them. Hmm? Then sometimes I procrastinate. When I saw that this is not what I need for these children, you have to, when you want to do something, do it immediately and get done with it. So procrastination is a pattern. This is what I carried from my father's house because my from they can procrastinate. I don't know if we are the ones that implemented it in this world. But I did not want them to continue. I had to break those patterns for them to understand that you have to move, you have to move, you have to, when you do something, continue, do it and get done with it. I started validating their emotions. I know you're angry. I know you're sad because I said this, but you have to do it. This is what you need to do, right? You see, comparison, it's a pattern I picked up from my father's house because it happened to me. And I came into, my parenting with it. And I had to stop. So you have to find those patterns and break them. Tell yourself, I'm going to stop. This has to stop. You criticize harshly. You don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to talk to your children. It needs to stop. It is being mindful of yourself, your surrounding, of what's going on. So, parenting is not about being perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. Please, parenting is about being present, not perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about being intentional. Everything about you, pour it into. It's about being willing to grow. Like I said earlier, I was in the school of thought of, the masses, whatever goes, what we see on Facebook. People will tell you that parenting doesn't have a manual. It is not true, please. My coach will always say, parenting has manual, but it depends on the one you're using. Is it the one you collected from your parent that did not work out that you're using? Parenting has a manual. And if we can get hold of that manual and intentionally, consciously use that manual, it will be, a beautiful journey. Parenting is about being willing to grow. What do I need to learn? What books do I need to read? What do I have to do for these children? It's not easy, but it's doable. It's not easy, but it's doable. As a parent, you hold the power to redefine your family's story and legacy. You have the power to say, now this has to end. I need to redefine this family story. I need to redefine the legacy I want this family to leave. It starts with someone and let that person be you. Right? It it's it's not a coincidence that you're here. There's a reason why you're here. So make the most use of that opportunity. Show up for yourself. Show up for your children. And not just showing up. Show up with love. Show up with understanding. Show up with empathy. Show up with compassion. Show up for these children. For our teenagers, we tend to think, oh, they are grown. They are not grown. They still want us. They want our love. They want our compassion. They want that relationship with us. Right? And please, I know that, you know, if you don't know how to go about it, there's this inner tribe. It's a parenting academy, right? By Aqua. Join. You can't do it alone. You can't do parenting alone. You can't do parenting alone. It's not a journey you embark on. Have you have to have someone to hold you, to give you the tools. Remember, I said that with the right tools, you can do it. Someone who will give you the tools, give you the skills, equip you with these things so that you can run that race. Because we are accountable, we are just caretakers. We are parents, but we are caretakers, and we have to answer for that, right? So thank you so much for joining me in this awesome um, topic.
This session has been really, really, really insightful. I believe I saw the comment section was quite cool. No one was really talking or chatting. This is a very deep session that we've all, had, and I believe that whatever that you have heard, whatever that you have heard, I believe you are going to take action, because if you hear it and you don't do anything about it, you are not going to see any results. Trauma, childhood trauma, is something that we all have to deal with. Someone will say,
Yeah,
well, I didn't go through any trauma. Do you know that trauma is not only about the experiences, it's also about the things that you were supposed to experience as a child, but you didn't
hmm,
experience them. They also can traumatize you. So we need to heal. If we don't heal from our traumas, we can't give birth to our children. We will
yeah,
always, give our fears. We will always pass them on to our children. So it's very important that we heal. It's very important that we grow as parents. That is how we become better, so that we can give better to our children. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really learned a lot, and I believe that parents here, educators here, caregivers, whoever you are, I believe you have learned a lot. So if you have any questions, it's time for questions. If you have any questions, kindly drop them in the comment section so that we look at them for you. It's question time. I think I see a question here. So Kofi Dagadu is asking, ma'am, please, what would you do or what would I do in case I don't have the money to buy something for him or her? I think that the question, I don't really get the question. I don't really get the question. I don't really, in case you
I
don't
don't. It
get
depends
money
on
to,
what you're talking about.
okay, yes, 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 yes. Can you, I don't know if you are here, Kofi, can you please type in the full question so that we understand what really you mean? Okay. Hawaii is saying thank you so much, Ma. Yes, thank you so much. It was very
You're
a deep
welcome.
session. Victoria is also saying very deep session. No, it was really very deep. And I believe that if we were taking notes, if we are taking notes, or if we go back to watch this session, we will see there's a lot we have to work on. We most of the time blame the kids. The kids are this, the kids are like this, the kids are like that. But it all comes back to us. Whatever the kids have learned, they learned from us. They learned from the environment they find themselves in. So if you get better, you will definitely be able to guide your child. You will definitely be able to give better to your child. We are waiting for the questions. We are waiting for the questions. We are waiting for the questions. Do we have any other questions so that we can end the session and then, go to the next session that we have? Okay. Any question? I don't believe there is any question, and I don't believe there's any question because the way this session has been, I don't know. I don't know. So let me do a quick recap. So what we said, or what Coach Oni said, was that what are some of the things that make us, not become very effective in our parenting? There's the childhood hurts, the generational traumas, lack of attachment and connection. We all have traumas, unresolved traumas that we need to solve. So unresolved trauma, there's this thing that she said, unresolved trauma affects your relationship with your partner, which will in turn affect your parenting skills. Yes, if you don't heal, if you don't deal with your traumas, they are going to affect your partner, your marriage. There's no way you are going to, have a peaceful marriage unless you deal with it. So if you are facing challenges in your marriage, if you are facing challenges in your parenting, know that it's as a result of the traumas, and you need to heal from those traumas. You need to heal
Yeah.
from those traumas. Yes. And what are some of the strategies to put in place to become effective, an effective parent? One, she said that you need to acknowledge and validate your experiences. I'm just doing a recap. You need to validate and acknowledge your experiences, okay? And you need to set healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries. So you see, I was taking notes. You need to set healthy boundaries. You need to also repair after conflict. You need to repair after conflict, okay? And you need to also, find a parenting school. You need to learn, you need to get better. These are some of the things that she said. So if there are no questions, I would like to thank
I think I
you.
can see a question.
Oh,
It
okay.
said, how do we set healthy boundaries?
Okay, how do we set healthy boundaries? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's one of the things healing from trauma does. Because when we go through trauma, for some people, we tend to become people pleasers, right? We always want people to validate us. So you get to see someone who wants to do something, and in his heart of heart, he knows that he can do that, but he wants someone else to say, yes, you can do it. You
Mm,
see someone who is a people pleaser, who cannot say no. Oh, please, can you help me go to this place and buy this thing? Yes, ma'am. Can you get this thing for me? Yes. Can you help me pick this thing up from? Yes, I will do that. Can you help me go to the market? Yes, I will. But or inside of that person, the person is angry. The person doesn't want to do that. That's what trauma does.
mm,
It makes you become people pleaser. Now, when you heal, you know because you have set your values, because you have outlined your values, what you can do and what you cannot do. Outlined your strengths. You've outlined your weaknesses. It will help you understand that when you want to, have a self-care, take care of yourself or your family, attend to your children, and a friend calls you up or your sister calls you up, oh, please, can you help me run to the market? Can you help me go to the shop and get this? Can you do this, do that? You will tell the person, no, please, I cannot. I have to do so, so, and so. Now, when that person understands that you're not always there like you used to, because people will tend to use it against you. They know that you are their beck and call. They know that when they ask you for something, you will do it. Even when you don't want to do it, when you don't have the time to do that, you will shift your sansa and do that for them. Now you will get to know that when you say no, people will start to get angry. But what happens is that after a period of time, they will see the change in you. They will not call you again to run that errand they're supposed to do or do other things so healing helps you to know what you want as a human being, what you cannot tolerate from someone else. It will help you to know this is the limit you can go, please. And the thing about it is, when you're doing it respectfully. You're not being worked up or you're agitated or you're, you know, speaking irresponsibly. No, you will calmly tell the person, oh, please, I can't do this. I have other things to do. Please, can you try sometime else? That's what healing does. It comes effortlessly when you, embark on your healing journey.
Okay, there's another question that says that do you get to see a therapist or you heal yourself?
Okay, you can heal yourself, right? But it's always advisable to see a therapist. Reasons being, this person has gone through, for someone like me that went through all that, I've experienced it and I know how I did it. I did not just, study it. It's my experience and I, refurbished it and all that. The person will help you. The journey that would take you 10 years or 5 years, the person will just condense it to 3 months, 4 months, right? And not just only condensing it, the person will be your support. Because like I said earlier, there are times when you get so overwhelmed. because of the triggers, because they show up. Yes, you can heal, but you cannot take your triggers away. So when they show up, at some point you become so irritated, so overwhelmed, just you feel like giving up. You run back to the person, okay, see what just happened. Then the person will help calm you down and tell you the strategies or steps to take for you to get back to to your journey or process. So it depends.
Okay, okay. So fortunately, one of the programs, okay, or the courses we are going to have next year is on healing from your childhood hurts. We are going to actually bring you a course like this in the academy next year. So I don't know if this is a question. So indeed, I have to use the parenting journal. Parenting, I must say, is a ministry indeed. It takes grace to do a good job. Okay, okay, okay. So, about the inner tribe. Okay, so there's another question from Deborah. She says, how should a parent react to what to do when you see ungratefulness in your dependents?
Dependent. Okay,
Okay, like, yeah. Mhm.
your children, if or maybe house help, and human beings are selfish. Let us just understand. At some point, we all are selfish. We want ours first. Yeah. So that's why I said when you know how to control your emotions, then it will help you to know how to react. When you know, okay, that this is the reason why this person is doing this, or this person is becoming selfish, you will control yourself first. Then you call the person and sit the person down. You list it out. This is what I've noticed. This is what I experienced. This is what I. Then you will give that person the opportunity to tell you. Maybe you are assuming, or maybe you're misreading. I'm just saying, saying. It will give you the opportunity to hear from the person. And at the same time, you're pointing it out to the person that this is what you're doing. But you're doing it calmly. That's where the difference is. So when you say, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm perceiving, what is going on, then the person will know that you know. And the person will retrace his or her steps. Now it's in your place to continue to do that thing for that person or not. And that's why I said when it comes to healthy boundaries, this is one of it. When you see someone that's ungrateful, why do I? It's not like you're holding a gun to my head. If I want to, I will do it. If I don't want to, I will not do it. And I will let you know it is not your right. It is a privilege. So it's left for you. Do you want to continue getting this from me or not? It will help the person retrace his or her steps. So it's all about controlling your emotions, being emotionally intelligent.
Yes, it's all about being emotionally intelligent. Deborah is saying I really need to heal from my trauma. Seriously, yes. Most parents, majority of us are passing on our traumas to our children, and we must heal. We must raise trauma-free children, and we can only do
Yeah,
that when we heal from our childhood experiences. So, Benis is also saying, "Hello, good morning. Thanks for thanks for such an eye-opening presentation." You're
you're
welcome, Venice.
welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. We are going to actually give you more. There are more. Like there are so many things we must learn as parents. And just this 3 days conference, you can't learn everything. So that is why we have the inner tribe. We are bringing you more and more and more. So I'll entreat each and every one of us to join the inner tribe if we want to take our parenting from where we are now to a different level, to a level where we are able to come together to change the narrative for Africa, to heal and to make Africa great. Then we all need to come together, join this program, and then begin to work on ourselves to get better.
Yeah.
Parenting is all about us. It's all about you. It's all about me. It's all about us, not the children. Not the children. When we heal and when we understand our children, we will be able to give better to them. We will be able to guide them, to lead them well, to become the influencers that we have to be for them. That is
Mm.
all that we have to do. So that at the end of the day, when we go to our Father, when we go back to Him, we will confidently tell Him that, yes, we have been able to handle these kids very well, and He will be proud of us. This is what
Yeah.
we have to do. So, I would like to end here. I think there are no questions. I would like to end here with the final words that Onye said. She said that parenting is not about being perfect. See, don't think that you have to be perfect. Most of us, when we see our children put up some behaviors, especially in public, we tend to, because we want other people to see that, hey, you are the, the all in all of you. You are the, like, the one in charge. You tend to disgrace the child. You tend to say all sort of
Yeah.
things that you are not, for others, just for others to see that you are the disciplined parent. But that is
Mm-hmm.
not about it. Don't make it seem like you have to correct the child there and then. If your child does something that is not right, just, find an appropriate time and deal with the behavior, not the child. She also said that it's about being intentional. Yes, when you are intentional about your parenting, you will be able to handle everything very well. And you will be able to handle everything very well. So sorry about that. The network, I got disconnected and I just, had to leave. So, thank you so much for joining. Thank you all so much for joining. I believe the session has been very insightful. So, we are here waiting for the next speaker to also join. So, kindly hold on, give us a few minutes, and when the speaker comes, we will come here to continue with the session. So please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Wait for us and we will be back. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, depending on where you are watching me from. I welcome you once again to the Parents Conference, themed Parenting for Change in Africa. I believe that so far you have gotten value from the sessions, and we hope that you will continue to learn as we bring you the subsequent sessions. Pick Parent Academy is an online coaching outfit for parents, educators, and caregivers. We equip parents and caregivers and educators with the skills and capacity to raise wholesome children. We have seen that most parents actually lack the skills to raise their children, and as a result of this, they find themselves mostly overwhelmed in their parenting. Some do not know what to do, some doing things unintentionally without knowing that it is going to cause harm someday. And in this conference, we know that you are learning a lot, and we don't want to leave you. We don't want to bring you the conference and then leave you hanging in there, not knowing what to do. That is why we are introducing this program, the Inner Tribe program. This is the 1-year program that is going to take parents on a journey. We are going to give you bi-weekly live webinars. We are going to give you huge discounts on all courses that we do in the academy. There are some courses that are going to be for free if you are in the Inner Tribe. Yes. And we are also going to give you free journals to document your journey as you go along. Yes, we believe in journaling. You need to journal so that when you are reflecting, you know where you started and where you have gotten to and where you need to work on to get better. We are also going to give you real support. Yes, we are going to find yourself in a community of parents, of caregivers, of educators who are willing to share with you, and we will not be afraid. In that community, we will not be afraid to share our weaknesses. We will not be afraid to share, because we believe that we are on a journey and we get better every day along the way. So it's going to be a community where we are not afraid to share how we feel and to also learn to get better. We are going to have a one-on-one monthly sessions with the coaches. Yes, this is going to be transformational, trust me. We know what it takes. Parenting is a journey. It is not something that you do like you have attended this conference and you think that, oh, I can now solve all my challenges. No, you need to go on a journey, and that is why we are here, willing to take you on this journey, to give you all the tools you will need, everything that you will need to make your parenting better, to move you from where you are now to a place where you no longer feel overwhelmed, to move you from where you are now to a place where you no longer yell at your kids, to a place where you feel that yes, you have gotten better and now you can give better to your children. We are only going to work with just a few parents. So anytime you hear that registration is opened, make sure that you jump on it quickly. It's going to be transformational. It's going to be, I don't know what name to give to it, but trust me, it's going to be a transformative journey. And I'll entreat every parent, if you want to join this movement, if you want to join us to change the narrative here in Africa, if you want to join us to make things better tomorrow, then please, I will entreat you to join this program. It's going to be transformative. It's going to be life-changing. So anytime you hear that we have opened up registration for the Inner Tribe, make sure you jump on and register so that we can all go on a journey to make Africa great again. Yes, I believe we were once great and we will take back what belongs to us. So join this movement and let's achieve that thing that we hope to achieve. All right, enjoy the rest of the session as we bring them to you. Don't go anywhere. Stay glued. Ooh. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for staying here with us. And it's time for the second speaker. So, without talking much, let's play and listen to the bio of Celia Kibla.
Celia Kibla is an award-winning best-selling author of Raising Happy Toddlers, How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids, an international speaker, a family empowerment coach, and the founder of the International Day of Calm, Pumped Up Parenting, and FunFit Family Fitness. She is the mom of 5 kids, 2 she gave birth to and 3 she gained from marriage, as well as a grandma of 9. She has been a real-life parent for over 41 years and has successfully parented a blended family for over 29 years. Celia is on a mission to stop 10 million parents from yelling at their kids. Her book, Raising Happy Toddlers, How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids, is available for purchase from Amazon in Kindle and paperback. She has written 3 children's books to enhance the development of kids. Being different is fun. I am grateful and all about me. With over 45 years of combined professional and educational experience, including working with special needs populations, Celia has found successful solutions for real-life parenting solutions with advice that is easy to follow, doable, and results-driven. She brings that wisdom to you in her books, podcast, speaking engagements, and private and group coaching programs. Ladies and gentlemen, wonderful parents, please let's welcome on stage Celia Kibla.
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And thank you to all of you parents who have decided to make a change, who have decided that all of this that is not healthy for our children stops with me. I am going to stop. And I hope that everything you hear at this conference, you at least take one piece of advice and implement it and stay consistent with it, because that's where you're going to see change. I'm super excited to be here and start my session on parenting with peace and calm. So if we can start the slides. Do you have the slides? I'm hoping we have we do have slides. Yay. Okay. So we're going to get started. When you parent with peace and calm, you cultivate respect and understanding. Often people have said, oh, well, you can't get respect from your children unless you shout or yell or hit them. And that's actually the opposite. Children don't respect a person that's shouting, yelling, and hitting, just like you don't respect a person who's shouting and yelling and hitting you. So let's start with who I am. I'm an award-winning author, grateful to have won the Mom's Choice Award, as well as the 2024 International Impact Book Award for Parenting. And that is on my book, Raising Happy Toddlers. I'm the mom of 5, like they said in my bio, grandma of 9, founder of FunFit Family Fitness, Pumped Up Parenting, the Day of Calm Foundation, and mark your calendars because the International Day of Calm is on April 5th. I'm a family and relationship empowerment coach, and I've been a preschool teacher for over 40 years. So let's get started with our class today. This is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn why having a calm parenting system in place will enhance cooperation, your kids listening, respectful responses, and calm communication without the need to yell. I'm going to tell you what you need to put in place. We're going to learn how to create a proactive approach. The reason we yell, the reason we hit, the reason we get frustrated is because we are emotionally reacting to a situation. We don't have a plan. We don't have a system. We just react. We're frustrated. We've had a long day at work. For whatever reason, we are not thinking in advance. We're going to take care of that. And we're going to learn how to build respect in all aspects of your relationship with your family in every way, which will then build confidence, self-esteem, personal value, and really get your kids and everyone in your family feeling like they're not invisible and they are being seen, heard, and actually being asked opinions and valued for what they want to say. So first I want to ask you, and if you'd put it in the chat stream, I would appreciate it. What are you grateful for? Tell me what you're grateful for, because gratitude is such a big part of our everyday life, should be a big part of our everyday life. And it's the direct way to teach children how to be more appreciative. You know, the holidays are coming, and I hear from my clients all the time, I don't know how to get my kids appreciative. I know they don't appreciate anything. Gratitude is your answer. Start a morning gratitude routine. Start a system where every morning, maybe over breakfast, you each go around the table and say what you're grateful for and expand your gratitude. Your kids are going to be grateful for like their immediate world. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for my sister. I'm grateful for my mother, my father. I'm grateful for life, like many of you had said. Yes, thank God for it. Better than the alternative, right? And you can expand it by saying, I'm grateful for dirty dishes. Why? Because it means we have food to eat. I'm grateful for laundry. Why? It means we have clothes to wear. So as you expand your gratitude, your children will expand theirs. And then gratitude starts changing attitudes, makes everyone more positive, and really creates an appreciation for what we have. You can switch. Okay, so what is calm, respectful parenting? What is this parenting style that I'm so insistent on and that I teach to my clients, my groups, and on the internet where you can see me? It is a child rearing approach. It's an approach to raising children that emphasizes treating children with dignity and understanding. Who here would like to be treated with dignity and understanding? All of us. Yes? Yes or yes? Yes. And while you're treating a child with dignity and understanding and not a possession, you foster an environment automatically of mutual respect and cooperation. So that's what we're talking about. So let me tell you what it's not, because a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this is why kids are all spoiled. This is why they take everything for granted. This is what it's not. It's not permissive parenting. What is permissive parenting? Permissive parenting is letting your child do whatever they want to do. There are no limits. There are no boundaries. There are no consequences. They just live their life and they live it in chaos and they're stressed out. And that is what this is not. I'm going to tell you what you need to include in this system. So I hope you're taking notes. So here's the benefits. When a child is calmly parented, when a child has peace and an environment of calm in their home. It's not all chaotic. Everybody's not rushing around screaming at each other. They personally build self-esteem, better social skills. They're more resourceful. They're more creative. When you're parented by strict parents and aggressive parents, you are afraid and you second guess yourself, and you're always concerned about what other people think. Who in this group is concerned about what other people think of you? Put in the comments. You also, when you parent with calm and respect, you become emotionally supportive to your kids' needs. So the bond between you and your child automatically gets stronger. Conflicts between parents and children are mostly resolved because you're taking a chance to empower your kids. You are, and I hope you become, an excellent role model for them. So they are learning from what you do, not just what you say. The positive effects of staying calm is this. And I know every one of you want this when you reflect on what you want your child to be as a grown-up. You want them to achieve academically. You want them to have strong self-esteem, self-worth, confidence, feel great about themselves and what they can do in the world. You want them to have emotional intelligence, something we are not born with that we have to learn. And we're going to review a bunch of that as far as what you know about emotional intelligence. You want them to take personal responsibility. We live in a world where there's a lot of blaming, shaming, making excuses for people's own behavior. They don't want to take responsibility. They want to blame it on someone else. So it's not my fault, their fault. We don't want to raise children that are going to be like that. We want them to be respectful to others, and they learn to be respectful to others. Why? Because they're growing up in a home that is respectful to every family member. And we want them to be helpful, cooperative, resourceful. And that's what happens. Kids grow up wanting to be a part of their family, wanting to help out, wanting to be part of the problem, wanting to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Okay, everybody, you know what? I love to laugh. Why? It's the best medicine. And when you laugh, you relieve all the stress. You should be having fun in your relationship. So I really want you all to do an exercise with me. Everybody put up your hands, and we can take the slides off for a second so everybody can see me, please. Put your hands up like this. This is what we're going to do. We are going to push our hands forward 3 times and go, ha, ha, ha. And I want you to do it at home. Don't be embarrassed. You're at home. Doesn't matter. Nobody sees you. And turn your hands and go, he. And the reason I want you to do this, because I want you to do it with your kids. Because do you know that fake laughter is just as beneficial to the brain as real laughter? So we're going to do it together, and we're going to go faster and faster and faster. And by the way, great exercise for your stomach muscles. Are you ready? Ha, ha, ha. Do it with me. He. Ha, ha, ha. 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 He. There you go. Don't you feel cleansed? Got a little workout by just laughing. Put in the comments if you did it with me. And remember, this is a great way to de-stress your kids. If you have a hard day at work, you came home from work, the kids are running around, you feel like you're going to scream, stop. Do the ha-ha, he game. They'll love it. And you'll all be laughing in no time. Stress will be released. You'll be calm. You'll be ready to go on with the next thing on the agenda. Okay, so glad you did it with me. Back to our slides. All right, so have fun. You should have fun. You know, that's what life's all about. Okay, let's teach a little bit about emotional regulation and intelligence, because we are not born with this. This is something taught. Yay, Amma, I'm glad you did it. This is something that's taught. All the tantrums, the throwing, the biting, the kicking, all of those are subconscious reactions to their emotion of being mad, angry, upset, disappointed, whatever it is. You can't replace that if you don't teach it. It's not just automatically in our brain. So emotions need to be acknowledged and discussed. You know, people will say to me, there are good emotions, there are bad emotions. Not true. That is not true. Emotions are merely emotions. What is good and not so good is your reaction to the emotion. Think of that. What is good or not so good is your reaction to the emotion. The emotions are merely emotions. And the way you react will teach your child how to react. Children experience disappointment. They need to learn how to handle it and understand and move on. We cannot make our children happy all the time because why? Welcome to life when things don't go our way. And if you are trying to make your child happy all the time, you are making a very unhappy adult. Children need to experience disappointment, and through calm and peaceful parenting, they learn to handle disappointment in a constructive way. When you're calm, you help your child learn how to regulate their emotions and also stay calm. If you yell, they yell. If you scream, they scream. If you hit, they hit. If you're calm, they're calm. Calm, peaceful parents also are parents of integrity. What's integrity? So many people actually don't know. Integrity is number one, living by your values. And number two, following through, doing what you say you're going to do. If you tell your children, if you don't stop doing this, this is going to happen, and they don't stop doing it, that you said better happen. If that's the consequence, that should happen. If you say it, mean it. If you don't intend on doing it, don't say it. Your children will never listen to you if you're constantly delivering idle threats. And a child that throws tantrums will actually lessen the amount of tantrums they throw because in this system, they are no longer getting their way. Tantrums start for one reason, and that's because our subconscious mind reacts, like I said before, to being upset, and it spits out a tantrum. They continue for only one reason. They work. So if they're screaming and yelling and they're getting their way, you have just taught them, have a tantrum, you'll get your way. Kids that are parented in this way are kinder and more connected. You know, when I ask parents, what do you want your child to be like as an adult? The number one answer I get, and I've asked thousands and thousands of parents, is kind. If you want your child to be kind, you have to be kind. And kindness is modeled through respect, calm, and cooperation and family unity. Being on a team, everyone's trying to achieve the same thing, that same connection, that same unconditional love. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about the brain because this is usually the aha moment for people. Our human brains do not finish developing till we are 25 years old. 25 years old. So everybody in this group, think for a minute, think how old your child is, and then write down in the comments how many more years they have to have a brain that is as developed as your brain. So if they're 2, they have 23 more years. If they're 5, they have 20 more years. If they're 15, they have 10 more years. That's a lot of brain development. Little kids do not know the difference between reality and fantasy until they're like 6 or 7. They don't have logic or reasoning until they're like 6 or 7. All we have is our basic human needs. We need to eat. We need to sleep. We need safety and security. We need love. That's what it's filled with. And like all the emotions except compassion. If you wonder why your child doesn't share and they're under the age of 2, it's because they don't know what compassion is. It's not in their brain, and sharing is an act of compassion. If you are expecting your child to respond to you like an adult, that is not just impossible. Excuse me, it's not just difficult, it's impossible. They can't do that until they're an adult at 25. Even at 18, they're not fully developed in their brain. Their brain hasn't finished all it has. Right, Amma, like eye-opener, 18 more years for your 7-year-old. And yet we're expecting them to act like an adult would act. See the world through their perspective makes a great change. Start understanding why they act this way. Why does a 2-year-old pick up something that's sitting on the table that you don't want them to pick up? Because they've only been on this earth for 2 years, and it's fascinating, and they're full of curiosity. Don't limit their curiosity. Set them up for success. Next slide, please. Okay. What should be included in your system? This is a system. We all have systems. Whatever you do for work, you learned how to do it, right? If you're a teacher, you learned how to be a teacher. If you're a plumber, you learned all about water and plumbing. If you're an electrician, you learned how to work with electricity. If you're an engineer, you learned about engineering. But why is it parenting the most responsible thing we do on this planet, creating more humans, future generations, is taken so lightly? People don't think you need a system. When you join the inner circle of this group, you are learning a system and you're teaming up with other parents so you have accountability. So you're working together. Join that group. This is what should be in your system. Schedules, routines. So do a check mark. Do you have these or do you not have these? Schedules, routines, and responsibilities. Yes, children should be doing household responsibilities. If you want to raise a responsible child, they need to have responsibilities. Calm, respectful communication. Not screaming, not yelling, none of that. Encouragement, engagement, and fun, just like we did with the ha-ha-hee-hee. You should have fun. No one's getting out of here alive, so we might as well have a good time while we're here. Do you really want your children miserable every day of their life? An encouragement system to motivate them to cooperate. To really say, you know what? I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. Here's a sticker. Here's a point. You need a system of encouragement, not just threats. Humans are motivated much more by encouragement than discouragement. You need to start encouraging your child. You also need limits, boundaries, and consequences. And we're going to go over the consequence formula so that you know what is a working, successful consequence. And you have empowerment. That's okay. Empowerment through choice. Okay, you can flip. This is what's not included. Yelling at your kids. You know that because I'm all about not yelling. Aggression, spanking, hitting, threats, calling names, lack of structure, judgment, criticism, ridicule, and your child running your family. And keep in mind before we go to the next slide that if you are doing all of this with your partner, you are teaching your children what a normal relationship is. So if you and your partner are cussing and calling names and hitting each other, that's their normal. When they get into a relationship with siblings, family, future love interests, that's their normal. They're going to hit, call names, do all that aggression. Why? They learn from you. Okay, you can flip. Okay, so just to get an idea of what you guys struggle with, here's a list of what tends to be most of the challenges parents have. Now, you may have something else. I would love you to put in the comments, if you would, what your biggest challenge is. And this is a good thing to remember, because when you go into the inner circle of this group, and I hope you guys buy in, limited, only so many people can join, you get an idea of where you want to begin on this journey. What is the things I need to resolve? So out of this list or something else, is there something you really struggle with? School or daycare behavior, cooperation and listening, tantrums, yelling, being responsible, respect for others. Do your kids speak rudely to you? Poor habits, constant negotiations. This is not about allowing a child to speak rude. There's no rudeness. How many of you, yes or no, tantrums and yelling, how many of you tell your kids, if you would have listened the first time, I wouldn't have to get angry? In the comments, who says that? Who has said something like that or something similar? Literally blamed it on your children. Whose fault is that? I'm going to tell you. It's yours. You make a constant decision, a conscious decision to yell at your children. No one makes you yell at them. No one makes you hit them. You decide that. They may trigger you, and we'll talk about the triggers. But if you are blaming your children, like Amma said, you are not taking personal responsibility. They are not in charge of your loud voice. If you make a conscious decision to scream and yell at your child, you can make a conscious decision not to. I can be in the same situation being triggered and I won't scream and yell. You'll be in that situation and you scream and yell. It's not them, it's you. And that's what you have to realize. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to hurt your feelings. I'm saying that because that is the truth. We are not in control of what goes on around us. We are only in control of what we do and how we respond. What I struggle with is yelling, and my kids are beginning to right. Gloria, you are directly teaching them, and I know you don't want to. And I'm so happy you're here because you're going to learn a better way. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so these are the triggers I'm talking about. Now, there are more triggers, but these are 4 general triggers that we all have. Not just you, your kids. You all have these triggers. You need good sleep. You need to eat. You need to have water and hydration. You need to avoid feeling overwhelmed, because these are the 4 main triggers that cause us to be irritable. So you need to be proactive on making sure those triggers are met, especially if you're going out somewhere and you don't want your kids having a tantrum in public. Make sure they've eaten, they had good sleep, they have some water, they're not feeling overwhelmed, and make sure your triggers are met as well. Okay, so let's talk about what is calm communication. This is what's included: your manners. I had a client of mine ask me, I want my child to be more well-mannered. And my first question always to a parent that asks me that is, do you use your manners? And they said, well, sometimes. And I said, well, then sometimes your child will use their manners. If you're not using your manners, do not expect your child to use their manners. Yes, I do yell at my angels, and I've noticed starting yelling at each other too. I'm doing that, damn it. Yes. Yes. I'm so proud of you, Deborah. Really proud of you. So use your manners all the time. There's no reason you can't use manners. And if you use them all the time, they will use them. Smile when you talk. Now, I'm a preschool teacher, and when I teach my little kids, they come and they whine to me. I will tell them, say it with a smile. Because you know what? You can't whine and smile at the same time. And what happens is often they just get frustrated and they walk away. And that's fine because I didn't want to hear whatever they were complaining about anyway. But you need to learn to smile when you talk. And if you don't know how, practice. Practice in the mirror because it automatically sounds calmer. When you end a sentence with a please, it's automatically calmer and more respectful. Can you speak firmly? Yes. When I'm in my classes, and these are physical fitness classes, kids are running around and I need them to sit, I will be like, sit, firm. And they all sit. I'm not yelling, but I'm firm. And they all take my command. You need to be firm sometimes too, but you don't need to yell. There is a difference. Yelling is an out of control reaction. Firmness is a controlled tone of voice. Active listening. You need to become a good listener. The best communicators are the best listeners. Why? You actually understand what's going on. You're not thinking, you're not sitting there and thinking, oh, what am I going to say in response to this? That's what most humans do. Most humans are listening and planning their rebuttal afterwards. Well, if you're planning what you're going to say next, you're not listening. Listen to your child. And the more you listen to your child, the more they will come and talk to you for years and years to come. Again, what's not included? Yelling, cussing, hitting, judgment, criticism, ridicule, name calling, assumptions, not part of calm communication, part of aggressive communication. Okay, you go next one. Winnie said the slides aren't clear enough. Winnie, it might be your Wi-Fi or something. I see clear slides. Is anyone else having a problem seeing the slides? Maybe, sign off and sign back on or see if that works. Okay, let's talk about mistakes. How were they viewed? How were they viewed when you were a kid and you made mistakes? And you can put comments in the chats. How are they viewed when your child makes a mistake? Oh, there you go. They're helping you, Winnie. How do you feel when your child makes a mistake? Put it in the chat and answer this question as well. Everybody tell me, what is the opposite of success? I'm going to wait a little while, see some people answer that question. What is the opposite of success? Anyone? I know there's a delay. And by the way, I'm here in the United States, if you haven't figured it out. 7:30 in the morning right now. Good morning. Here's my coffee. Cheers. And I'm happy to be with you. Failure. Okay. Deborah says failure. Who else? Who else thinks failure? Grace says failure. Anyone else? Okay. Here's the truth. And this is something that you need to remember for your parenting and the learning of this system as you go along in the private group or however you learn this system, sessions like this. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. It's not the opposite. The opposite of success is giving up. If you give up, if you decide, I'm going to do this, not going to yell, I'm going to take information from these slides, from the other speakers, and I am going to be proactive as a parent and not emotionally reactive. And if something makes you mad and you start screaming, you're like, forget it, I can't do this. You can do this, number one. And if you give up, that is the only way there will not be success. Failure is on the road of success. Mistakes are on the road of success. So if you are giving your children the idea that they have created a sin by failing or making a mistake, you are doing them a grand disservice. They need to excite in a mistake or a failure. They need to go, okay, so this didn't work out. What can I do differently to achieve a different outcome? And you should be supporting that as well. Sit around the table. Hey, instead of discussing what went right today, discuss what didn't go right today. And then talk about what you could have done different. Child doesn't get a good grade, but they worked really hard. Celebrate their effort, not the grade. Because if they worked hard, then that's the best they did. In which case, you need to go back and say, let's look at what you did so you can have a better outcome. Do not give your child the impression that mistakes and failures are the end of the world. They will not learn to grow as a human. My daughter usually tells me to stop yelling at her when I'm helping with her homework, and she is not getting it. I realize she gets confused, so when it happens, we take a break and good. Absolutely. Don't yell. What are you yelling for? Think about that. I want you to think about for a minute why you're yelling at her. If she's struggling and she doesn't understand, then maybe the way it's being taught is confusing. We all learn in different ways. There is not everybody learns this way. No, we have individual brains. They think on their own. They're at different levels of development. You yelling makes her afraid to learn. You are making your child afraid to learn and afraid to reach out for help from you. Yes, always. You want your child to have the one big life skill of always do your best. Whatever you're doing, always do your best. Always celebrate the effort, not the outcome. Okay, next. Who's in charge here? Okay. In my book, Raising Happy Toddlers, one chapter is called Who's in Charge Here? And actually, the next line is you are. You are ultimately in charge. If your child's throwing a lot of tantrums, being all moody, having all kinds of drama, and you are running your home around that drama, well, if we go here, she's going to throw a tantrum. If we do this, he's going to throw a fit. Let's just not do it. You are contributing to that child having more and more drama, tantrums, screaming, whatever. Because he now knows, or she now knows, that she gets her way when it happens. You are in control. If your child is going to get upset about something, well, they get upset. Keep going. Let them know that, you know what, we're doing this. It's going to be fun. I know you're anxious. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Well, we're going. Take the hand and move it along. I had a parent say to me, my child throws a fit when I hold their hand in the parking lot. The child is 2. Well, I'm in the parking lot. They have a fit if I hold their hand. What should I do? Why is that a question? They either cry or die. Why is that a question? So let them cry. Hold their hand, pick them up. That is not an option. That is a non-negotiable. If they cry, they cry. Better than them dying and getting hit by a car. Okay, next. Sorry, I get a little passionate sometimes. Okay, what do you need to do? Remember, I told you this is on you, guys. Your children are small, developing brains, all the stuff we talk to. What are you doing that's increasing this, that's making a lot of this happen? And what do you need to do to stop it from happening and have a more calm, peaceful, cooperative home? You need to improve your emotional intelligence. So if you're not reacting well to certain emotions, you need to learn better ways. And we're going to dive into that too. You need to be a good role model. Everything you do, good or not so good, you give your child permission to do. If your child is hitting and you hit them because they're hitting, illogical. You just gave your child permission to hit because you hit them. That's not how you teach a child not to hit. That's how you teach a child to hit. You need to be willing to try new things, and please don't predict the outcome. I hear from parents, that'll never work. It'll never work. Be willing to try something different and give it a chance to work. Create an atmosphere of respect for each other in your home. Be respectful. And you know what happens is when you're respectful, you get respect back. Respect is a two-way street, and it is not brought upon by being aggressive, hitting, beating, yelling, screaming, cussing, whatever. That is not, nothing about that is respectful. Become a great listener, like I mentioned before. Maintain a never give up attitude. Remember, opposite of success is to give up. And be consistent. Consistency is key. Don't give up after you tried it 2 times. Keep with it till it's mastered. Start doing this now. If you do nothing else through this whole conference, do this. Start noticing the good your child does and let them know you notice. Your child does so much more good than not good. Except as human nature, we react to the bad. You know, let me give you a scenario. You have 2 kids and they're playing together, and they've been playing together really nicely. And you got some work done, and all of a sudden they start yelling. What do most parents do? And nobody said anything about the half hour that they played so nice. You only fed attention to the anger. And what you feed attention to is what grows. Different scenario. Your children are, or same scenario, different response. Your children are playing really nicely. They're playing for like a half hour. You're getting your work done. 15 minutes in, you get up, you walk in there and you say, oh, guys, thank you so much for playing nice. I'm getting a bunch of work done. I'm almost done. Why don't we play a game after this? And then, you know, we'll have some fun. I really appreciate how nicely you guys are playing. And now you have fed attention to what they're doing right. And you let them know they're being successful, that they do things right. In the other scenario, you just focused on what they were not doing right. And so out of that, they just thought to themselves, well, everything we do is wrong. How many times have you thought that about yourself? Everything I do is wrong. I do nothing right. And the reason they got tired, the reason they fought was probably because they were just sick of being together. Don't forget, siblings should not be together all the time. They'll get sick of it. And arguments will happen. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, and guys, connect with me. I put this in the middle. Take a snapshot. Connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Peanut app. If you don't have the Peanut app, it's an app for moms with kids. I do, you know, little pod audio groups on there. I have my own group, Raising Happy Toddlers, so connect with me. You can take a screenshot. Okay, next slide. All right. Here's the structure. Here is what needs to be in place in your home. So write it down, take a screenshot, whatever you need. You need to have schedules and routines. You need to have limits and boundaries. You need to have consequences. You need to offer choice for negotiables only, not non-negotiables. You need to have calm communication. You need to have encouragement. You need one-on-one time with your child. 10 to 15 minutes is great. And you need positive attention. Okay. Another question. What kind of an adult do you want your child to be? You can put that in the comments. What kind of adult do you want your child to be? Anyone? I know there's a delay. So start putting them in the comment. We'll go to the next slide. And if you don't do this, I want you after this conference to write down what kind of adult you want your child to be. If you don't do it right now, write down all the qualities of the person you want your child to be. Okay, next slide, please. Now ask yourself, what kind of role model are you? A responsible adult. Are you who you want your child to be? You need to have emotional regulation. You need to take responsibility. You need to be honest and have integrity. You need to be kind, compassionate, respectful, willing to listen. You need to be the person you want your child to be. And if you are, they will be that person. If you have bad habits, if you have screaming, yelling, if you're doing anything that's demonstrating unkindness, disrespect, that's what they'll be. Communication is 80% nonverbal. 80%. It breaks down finer than that. 20% the words you say. So if you are screaming and yelling, it doesn't matter what you say. That's what they're recognizing is the screaming and yelling, and that's what they're taking in. If you're rolling your eyes, your tone of voice, that's what's being received. God-fearing, responsible, confident, loving, resilient, humble. I want my kids to become as responsible and loving as I am to them, and even better, possibly. Love that. Love all of these. Great responses. Respect and show empathy to everyone. Love it. And I hope, Joyce, that you show respect and empathy to your children. Bold, responsible, and kind. Love these answers. Great job. Okay, so be those people. Be who you want them to be, and they will be that person when they grow up. Okay, next slide, please. How do you feel when you're yelled at? I want you to reflect on that. When you are screamed and yelled at, or if anyone is hitting you, how do you feel? Your kids feel the same way. Think of how you felt if you were yelled at as a child. How did that make you feel? Did that make you feel good, or did that make you feel like a little teeny person like this picture? Think about it, because that is what you're making your children feel like. Okay, next one, please. Disrespected. Absolutely. Hitting and spanking. You know, I had a father say to me, you have to admit there are appropriate times to hit a child. To what I asked him was, in reply, when is it appropriate for me to hit you? When is it appropriate for a husband to hit a wife? When is it appropriate for a teacher to hit a child, a minister to hit a child, a minister to hit a member of his church? It's never appropriate. There is never an appropriate time to hit another human being. Never. This has to stop being acceptable. This has to stop being the norm, us hitting each other. We are never going to control the anger and rage that runs rampant in this world if we don't stop making it normal. And if you are angry and raging at home, you are just raising a child that's going to be full of anger and rage. Yes, I love all these responses to how you felt. Okay, next. If you're screaming, yelling, cussing, calling names, hitting, throwing things, whatever you're doing, if you're doing that, you're throwing a tantrum. No different than your little child throwing a tantrum. You're just throwing an adult tantrum. A tantrum is an out of control reaction to an emotion. That's all it is. And if you are throwing, hitting, kicking, screaming, yelling, cussing, name it, you are out of control and you are resolving nothing. A screaming match resolves nothing except makes things worse. So remember that, please. Okay, next slide. Okay, here's a little exercise you can teach your child easily, because a lot of times parents will say breathe. Kids don't know what breathing is. They just breathe. This is what I want you to do, and everybody do it with me too, and you will feel the calming effects. Put your finger in front of your nose and smell the flower, which means breathe in and blow out the candles. Blow out. Smell the flower. Blow out the candles. Smell the flower. Blow out the candles. Don't you feel better? Don't you feel calmer? Don't you feel more relaxed? And this way, your child knows how to do it. You're not just breathe in. They don't really get, little kids don't know what breathe in is, but they know what smelling a flower is. Smell the flower, blow out the candles. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, what happens to a child that is consistently yelled at and parented aggressively? And I'd love to know how many of these, if you are parented that way, how many of these is how you feel about yourself? They feel everything they do is wrong, which the opposite is nothing I do is right. They lack confidence and self-esteem and second guess themselves all the time. Oh, should I be doing this? Or somebody says, what would you like to eat? And you're like, whatever everybody else wants, because you don't have the confidence to speak up and say your thoughts because you're worried about being judged. They constantly worry about what other people think. And if you meet all of this, it got there because you were aggressively parented. They grow up thinking they're the bad kid. Why? Because they feel like everything they do is bad. Nobody sees what they try to do good. They only see the not so good. So they must be bad. They grow up filled with, they become timid. Yes, absolutely. They don't have the strength, the confidence, the self-esteem to speak for themselves. And they will grow up two ways, filled with anger and rage, or they'll become the peacemaker, the person that can't stand conflict and avoids it at all costs. That's how I grew up. I grew up the peacemaker. Of course, I'm kind of the ultimate peacemaker because, I have to calm the whole world. But that's how kids grow up. And how many of you relate to this? How many of you second guess your decisions all the time? I hate to tell you how many people in the world do that. And it is all because of the lack of confidence and worrying about what other people think of you. Okay, next slide, please. Respect and manners. Again, you have to have respect. You have to have manners and smile when you talk. It is the difference of talking to someone in a respectful way as opposed to a rude way. Do not accept rude talk from your child. Do not accept talking back. The difference between talking back and talking up, we want our children to offer their opinions and to tell their thoughts. But the difference between talking back and talking up is respect. That is the single difference. I want a drink. I would like a drink, please. Mom, can I have a drink, please? Dad, can I have a drink, please? The difference is respect. Do not allow your child to speak rudely to you. You do not deserve that. You do not deserve to be spoken like that. Do not continue a conversation where they are. Okay, next one. Schedules and routines. What's the difference? A schedule, and I think you can go to the next one. Let me see what the next one is. I can't remember. Yeah, you can go to the next one. Okay, so a schedule is a plan for the day. A routine is a micromanaged section of the day. The morning routine. We get up, we leave for school. What do we do between getting up and leaving for school? Those steps are a routine, and you need to have them consistent and do them every day. That's the difference. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. Why is it important? Everybody's on the same page, which is super important. Children become more independent, more cooperative, more confident. They stay on task. They become more responsible. and they start taking control of things that seem like they're out of control. Schedules and routines are one of those things that require consistency. Do not give up on a routine 2 days into it. They need to learn to master it, and so do you. And once it's mastered, you don't have to worry about what they're doing. They know what they do when they go to bed. They go upstairs, they wash their face, they go to the bathroom, they get pajamas on, they read books. They know it because it's a consistent step-by-step routine every day. All right, next, please. Why do you want to motivate through encouragement? Remember, I told you humans are much more motivated through encouragement than discouragement. If you work a job and your boss came in and said, I need this finished in 30 minutes, and if it's not finished, you're fired. Or they come in and they go, I'm sorry to rush you, but I really need this finished in 30 minutes. I'm so sorry. But if you get it finished, you can go home for the day. Which one are you going to put more effort into? The yay, I get to go home for the day. Yeah, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to do it right. Boom. Not I'm fired. Well, if I'm going to be fired, then what's the point of even putting effort in? We all like to be appreciated. It's not bribery. It fosters independence. It improves communication. It encourages cooperation. It promotes resilience. It strengthens your bond, and it gives a person a positive self-image. If you do nothing else with your partner today, your husband, your wife, whoever, start being grateful for the effort they're putting in. Start appreciating it. My husband does the laundry. When he brings up a basket of laundry, every single time I thank him. Should I just go, well, he's supposed to do that? I don't care if he's supposed to do it. He does it. He makes an effort, and I appreciate it. Start appreciating your partners and your kids. Okay, next slide. Benefits of setting up limits and boundaries. Teaches self-control, provides safety and security. Kids that don't have limits and boundaries do not feel loved, do not feel like anyone cares. It builds responsibility. It encourages problem solving. It builds respect, and it reduces stress and anxiety. What is a boundary, a limit? A boundary is we throw the ball in the house. We don't throw the ball in the house. We throw a ball outside. We don't jump on the sofa. We jump over here on this pillow I put on the floor for you. Those are limits. Yes, you can go. You have to be home by 10 o'clock. Those are limits and boundaries, okay? Set them up if you need them. You all need them, but set them up. And if you don't know how, ask. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I'm going to teach you about how I teach consequences in my program. I teach you a formula. What's the difference between punishment, screaming, yelling, sending children away, taking away something for the rest of their life, grounding them for eternity? That is punishment. What's the difference between punishment and a consequence? A consequence is in place to teach your child to make a better choice the next time that situation occurs. Let me tell you the perfect worldwide, I believe it's worldwide consequence. A speeding ticket. We get in a car, we decide to speed. We know we're making an educated choice because we know we might get a ticket. We might get a fine. We get in there, we speed, a policeman pulls us over, he gives us a ticket. He doesn't take our keys. You could go to the next slide, please. He doesn't take our keys. He doesn't tow away the car. He gives you a ticket. So it's reasonable. If he towed your car away, it would be unreasonable. It relates to the crime. We were speeding. We got a ticket, a speeding ticket. Totally relatable. And it's repeatable. Every time you speed, you risk getting a ticket. Those are the 3 R's of a consequence. And if you have those incorporated to what you respond to your child for something, then it becomes a teachable consequence, and they will eventually learn to make a better choice once that situation occurs. Relatable, reasonable, repeatable. Okay. One-on-one. You guys have to be with your child one-on-one. They need to know you're wonderful. That you not that you're wonderful, they're wonderful. And that they are an important part of your life. If you have 3 kids, each of those kids need to know they're equally important to you. And they don't grow out of it. My son is 36 years old. We still go on dates together. Sometimes his wife comes, sometimes she doesn't. We go to dinner and a movie. Why? Because even at 36 years old, it is important for me to help him know how incredibly important he is to me. So I make time for him and we do something together. They never grow out of it. They're never too old. They want to know until the day they're gone that they were important to you, that all the things in life didn't override them, that a phone wasn't more important than they were, that when they talked to you, you put your phone down and looked at them and sat and talked. You hold that phone in your hand all the time. All you're saying to your child is, you know what? This phone is much more important than you, because if it rings, if anything happens, I need to address that. And then you're second on the list. Put your phones down. Spend special time with your children. Okay, next, please. The power of choice. When choices are offered in a proper way, the benefit is responsibility, empowerment, integrity. Kids believe in themselves because you believed in them enough to offer them a choice. Choices are never for non-negotiables. They have to take a bath. They have to take a bath. It's not, do you want to take a bath? Don't you want to take a bath? You have to take a bath. You can say, do you want to take a bath and use the pink towel? Or do you want to take a bath and use the white towel? Do you want your toys in the bathtub with you or not in the bathtub with you? The bath is not negotiable. They want something to eat. It may or may not be negotiable. Or maybe a side dish is negotiable. Okay, we're having chicken. Do you want broccoli or do you want squash? That might be negotiable. When they do something, it might be negotiable. When you're leaving a park, instead of just saying, come on, time to go, say, would you like 1 or 2 more minutes to play? 2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to set an alarm. What are you going to do in 2 minutes? I'm going to leave. Great. Set an alarm. And they will leave happily because they decided when to leave. Okay, next, please. Consistency. My friends, it's the key to it all. If you don't stay consistent and you don't keep repeating what you've learned, then you will naturally fall into the old patterns that you've had. It happens all the time. One of the reasons you need to join the inner circle group, because they will keep you accountable. You will have somebody helping you stay consistent. People that come to many things like this, they do a few things and then they don't join anything. They don't get into a group of parents with the same thoughts and the same goals, and it all falls apart. And then they say, oh, I've tried everything. Nothing works. If you think you've tried everything and nothing works, I ask you, what have you tried that you stayed consistent with? Consistency is key in all of life. Okay, next one. Okay, we're coming to the end of the talk. Family harmony is what results. When you put all these things in place, when you create the parenting system that works for you, all these things should be a part of it. You have family harmony. Your kids respect each other. They want to participate. They want to help out. They ask to help out. They're picking up their things. They're doing things. They're not just fighting and yelling, and there's not just chaos and screaming and hitting. There's none of that. Maybe once in a while. I'm not going to say, we all have bad days. I'm not going to say you're never going to yell again, but it will be drastically reduced. Think of your morning. If you are right now, if you are yelling around, you're yelling and screaming, running around, the house is in chaos, your kids aren't doing what you say, what kind of day can either of you possibly have if the morning is so chaotic? If your house is cluttered and a mess, clutter is chaos. Make space. If you're overscheduling your kids, that is also chaotic. We all need downtime. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I want to offer you guys a program that I'm doing, and I have it on a very special Black Friday price. It is 80% off, like hardly anything, not even $1 a day. You will be calm before Christmas. It's my 21 days to stop yelling. Take a screenshot because there's steps so you can pay for it. So 1 through 7, you have to go to the seller link. You'll automatically be sent to quityelling.com once you're paid. You click the enroll button, use the same email you paid with. You'll be asked to check out. You're not going to pay more because you're going to put in the coupon code seller, and then you'll have full access to the program. And in 21 days, you will stay consistent. Does this mean that if you get this, it's not a good idea to join the inner circle with the Parents Academy here, the PIC Parent Academy? No, this is your kickoff. This gets you rolling faster. This speeds up the process, and then you stay in a group and get held accountable by other parents that are like-minded and have the same goal. I just want to ask you, how would you feel? How would you feel if by Christmas, and actually before, your home was peaceful, calm, respectful? Your kids said to you, gosh, I don't know what's going on, but I'm loving it. Go today after this conference and sit down with your kids and ask them, hey, I really want to stop all the yelling, all the hitting, all the cussing, whatever's going on. Would you help me? There is not a child in the world that wouldn't say, yes, I am on board. What do we need to do? They don't want to be yelled at. They don't want to be hit, just like you don't. Get them on board. You'll be a team. You'll be successful. Family harmony will result. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, we can't hear you, Akua. We can't hear you.
Okay. Hello, Celia. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So thankful for this session. We are so grateful. It's been very, very insightful. And I believe parents have really learned something. I mean, we've learned a whole lot, a whole lot. So if you want to stop yelling this Christmas, if you don't want to yell this Christmas, kindly jump on to Celia's 21-day challenge and you will be glad you joined. You will be glad you joined. And Celia said something. You need to be in an accountability system. You can't do parenting all alone. You can't. There's a whole lot of things that you need to work on yourself, and you need someone to keep you accountable. That is why we are introducing the inner tribe for the Pig Parent Academy. When it is introduced, all I will say is jump on it because we are going to work with just a few number of parents, and I trust me, you don't want to be outside this tribe. So thank you so much, Celia. Do you have any questions? Please, if you have any questions,
Yeah, if
kindly
you
put
have
them in
any
the comment
questions,
section.
can they
Yeah,
get
so
the
that
slides? That's
Celia
fine with
can
me.
look at. Yes, they
Are
can.
they able to
Sure, they
get them?
can.
Ketty, yes, you can. Yeah, it's so important to be part of that tribe because, okay, well, you know, and I know that when you're changing, you feel lonely. You feel like you're the only one that's going through
Ready?
this. And when you feel like you're the only one going through this, you're like, well, you know, it's just never going to work. But when you're in a tribe of people and they're like, oh, I did the same thing happened to me. I did the same thing. This is what happened. This is what I did. You feel empowered and you keep going and you don't give up. I highly recommend you join the slide, get the 21-day challenge, make it a part of your journey with the tribe, and you will be amazed how successful you are at the end and how happy and confident and self-reliant and amazing the adults that you're raising are when they become adults.
Thank you so much, Celia. Thank you so much. We can't see any questions so far. Is there any question? Celia has to go because she has a lot to do. Okay, so yes, call clutter is chaos. Okay, this is by Akusia Mankwa. Okay, all right. Any question? Any question? If you have any question, kindly drop them so that we can. Okay, so Deborah says, I am definitely going to do this challenge. And Lydia says, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
And Joyce Mensa says, thanks a lot. Okay. It seems there are no questions. There are no questions. Celia, thank you so much. We really honor you. We appreciate your presence here. And
My
thank you
pleasure.
so much.
Thank you for having
so
me,
much.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. You're so welcome, Deborah.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you all for joining. See you all tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, depending on where you are watching me from. I welcome you once again to the Parents Conference, themed Parenting for Change in Africa. I believe that so far you have gotten value from the sessions, and we hope that you will continue to learn as we bring you the subsequent sessions. Peak Parent Academy is an online coaching outfit for parents, educators, and caregivers. We equip parents and caregivers and educators with the skills and capacity to raise wholesome children. We have seen that most parents actually lack the skills to raise their children, and as a result of this, they find themselves mostly overwhelmed in their parenting. Some do not know what to do, some doing things unintentionally without knowing that it is going to cause harm someday. And in this conference, we know that you are learning a lot, and we don't want to leave you. We don't want to bring you the conference and then leave you hanging in there, not knowing what to do. That is why we are introducing this program, the Inner Tribe program. This is the 1-year program that is going to take parents on a journey. We are going to give you bi-weekly live webinars. We are going to give you huge discounts on all courses that we do in the academy. There are some courses that are going to be for free if you are in the Inner Tribe. Yes. And we are also going to give you free journals to document your journey as you go along. Yes, we believe in journaling. You need to journal so that when you are reflecting, you know where you started and where you have gotten to and where you need to work on to get better. We are also going to give you real support. Yes, we are going to find yourself in a community of parents, of caregivers, of educators who are willing to share with you. And we will not be afraid. In that community, we will not be afraid to share our weaknesses. We will not be afraid to share, because we believe that we are on a journey and we get better every day along the way. So it's going to be a community where we are not afraid to share how we feel and to also learn to get better. We are going to have a one-on-one monthly sessions with the coaches. Yes, this is going to be transformational, trust me. We know what it takes. Parenting is a journey. It is not something that you do like you have attended this conference and you think that, oh, I can now solve all my challenges. No, you need to go on a journey, and that is why we are here, willing to take you on this journey, to give you all the tools you will need, everything that you will need to make your parenting better, to move you from where you are now to a place where you no longer feel overwhelmed, to move you from where you are now to a place where you no longer yell at your kids, to a place where you feel that yes, you have gotten better and now you can give better to your children. We are only going to work with just a few parents. So anytime you hear that registration is opened, make sure that you jump on it quickly. It's going to be transformational. It's going to be, I don't know what name to give to it, but trust me, it's going to be a transformative journey. And I'll entreat every parent, if you want to join this movement, if you want to join us to change the narrative here in Africa, if you want to join us to make things better tomorrow, then please, I will entreat you to join this program. It's going to be transformative.